There
Yeah.
he is.
Hey, hi, Digvijay.
Hi, Madhav. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Wonderful. So, as a small introduction, Madhav is freshly out of his college. He's been working with us for nearly 10 months now, but he has already made a name for himself with all of these crazy experiments that he does in Flutter. And he has also been one of the people who have been working on Flutter Starter and one of the brains behind it. So, I think I would probably let Madhav let you all of you know what Flutter Starter is all about and how you can use it to enhance your productivity. So, Madhav, over to you.
Yes, sure. Okay. So, hello everyone. So, I'm here to talk about why do we need Flutter Starter. So, let's begin. So, before starting, let me introduce myself. I'm Madhav Bansal. I'm software developer at Geeky. So, here is my Twitter handle. So, moving on. This is the official Flutter Starter website. In there, you'll be able to get the docs here under the docs tab. Then we have the Flutter Starter template under the GitHub tab. So meet Sumant Raj. He's the one who came up with the idea to start Flutter Starter. So let's get started. So before starting, why do we need Flutter Starter? Let's see what is Flutter Starter. So Flutter Starter is a kit where you can find all the code needed to build a production level app. By production level app, I mean it includes API configuration, it includes the state management, then it has the style guide, then it has the utility tools and much more. So before diving into it, let's see what was the motivation behind creating Flutter Starter. So I am assuming that all of you might have started with a new Flutter project at one point of your uh, coding career. So whenever we start with a Flutter project, Flutter provides us with a simple counter app on installation, which works fine if you're just starting out. But if you are making a production ready app, you have to do a basic setup. You have to do everything which I told you in the previous slide. So to solve this problem, we came up with this idea to have the boilerplate code inside the Flutter starter. So let's dive into it now. I'll be explaining you through the folder structure. So we have the API SDK here. Inside the API SDK, by the name it's clear, it makes the API call. It has all the things we need to make an API call. So here we have the Firebase method, then we have the GraphQL method, then we have the REST methods here. So and we have the API constants.dart. Here in the API constants.dart, you'll have all the API constants you'll need to manage your API, your API constants. So inside the Firebase method, we have the API handles and auth services. So API handles the API calls which are needed for your app. Anything related to your app, the Firestore calls and everything will be kept in the API handles. Then we have the auth services. By the name, it's clear. In the auth services, you'll have the Firebase authentication methods. Then moving on, we have the GraphQL method here, inside which we have the GraphQL operations, which contains the mutations and queries you will be needing to make a GraphQL call. So we have a GraphQL handler here, which will help you make the GraphQL operations, which will help you handle all the GraphQL operations for you. Then moving on, we have the REST API methods. In the REST API, we have the API helpers. Inside the API helpers, we have the API base helper class. So API base helper class, what does it do? It has all the basic CRUD you'll need to make call. Like you have to, it contains all the basic CRUD which will be needed to make a REST API call. Then moving on, we have the API exception here. In the API exception class, it will handle all the exceptions while making an API for you. So REST API helper data class will help you make the API calls using the API helper classes. Moving on, we have the API constants, as I told you before. Then the main class. Main class is common for all folders. In the main class, we'll export all the files so that you don't have to import it again and again. Moving on, we have the shared folder. Inside the shared folder, we have the different modules. By modules, I mean these are the functionality or the features you provide inside your app. For example, I have an example here. This is the authentication module. In this authentication module, you'll see we have the block. I won't dive into the block, but you know, block is the business logic which controls the logic behind the authentication. So it is same as we use the block. It has events, it has states, and we have the block to control the events as per the states. So we have the block controller here, which will provide you the singleton, which will be used inside your app. Then we have the models here. Inside the models, for this example, I use the user data model. What does the model do basically? Model provides you with the data. So how does the data gets inside? It serializes the data as soon as you make an API call. So the response gets stored inside the model. So that's the need of the model here. We have resources here. Inside the resources, we have authentication repository.dart. For this example, we have authentication repository.dart. I'll be talking about this in detail later in my slides. But for now, this will provide you with the functions which you will be using inside your logic while making an API call. Moving on, we have the app. Inside the app, you'll have all the things that you need to show the user. For example, this will have your screens, this will have your configuration, this will have the routes, this will have the utility part. So moving on with the configurations, in the config folder, we'll have color constants, which will help you set the color constants for your apps so that it may not vary from screen to screen. Then we have the global constants here. We have the global constants here so that you don't have to define the constants again and again. You can just import this file and use the constant. Same is the case with image constants. We have the image constants here. So while importing the asset image, you don't have to give the path again and again. You can just import the file and use the names inside the image constants. Then we have the theme data here. Inside the theme data, we have two types of themes basically set up for you. It is light theme and dark theme. So you can configure it according to your app. This is fully customizable. All these things are fully customizable. So inside the routes folder, we have the index.dart. Inside the index.dart, you'll have all the routes which are needed for your navigation inside the app. So you can edit this. This is fully customizable again. Then we have screens here. Inside the screens, you'll have all the screens that are needed inside your app. We have the home screen here. For now, you may have multiple screens like profile screen, home screen, the data screen, and much more accordingly, whatever your app is about. Then we have the utils here. This is something which every developer might need or every developer should use. For example, what is the main concern while developing an app? The main concern while developing a mobile app is that you care about how to resize your app according to your mobile screen. So this size utils.dart does the magic for you. It helps you make your app responsive for different mobile screens. It provides you with three different functions: .to height, .to width, and .to font. So wherever you are mentioning the height, wherever you are mentioning the width, wherever you are mentioning the font, you just need to import this file and use these three basic functions. This will do the work for you. This will do the magic for you. I'll show you this practically also. So again, we have the widgets here. Here, all the common widgets would be kept inside the common widgets, like the widgets which are used commonly inside your app, like the button, customized button. We have the customized app bar or something. We can have all those common widgets here. You need not create them again and again. Moving on, we have splash.dart. This is a splash screen for your app. It comes out of the box with the Flutter Starter logo, but it is fully customizable. You can have it for your need inside your app. Moving on, I'll be discussing about the REST API SDK. As we all know, REST needs a generic functions for CRUD operations. So these functions are already placed in API base helper.dart file. You don't have to create the CRUD operations for your REST API. You don't have to write the HTTP calls. These are all done for you. Then we have the REST API handler class. Inside the REST API handler class, we have the we first need to create an instance of API base helper here. As soon as we create the instance of API base helper here, you are good to go. Now we have the two examples of get data and post data here. What do we need to get the data? We need a path to get the data, right? So we have here await API base helper dot get. So we are calling the get function of this API base helper class using this instance here. Similarly, we are using API base helper dot post method here to get the post request, to get the required response here. So these are the high level functions. So how we are going to use these functions? For example, I'm going to get the user data. So for getting the user data, I need a user ID, right? So we are passing the user ID as an argument and embed user ID in the path of the API call. So the path is coming from the API constants, then the users, then the ID. So it will help you get the final response here, and then you can use your response accordingly. So you can just use it by calling the API SDK.getUserData of ID inside your business logic or the repository files, shared repository files. Moving on, we have the GraphQL API SDK. Inside the GraphQL API SDK, you need to set up your GraphQL client by setting the values of under this HTTP link and auth link inside the API constants.dart file. So once you are all set up, you're good to go again. Here is an example of how you can fetch the GitHub repositories. So here I have created the instance of GraphQL client here. After creating the instance, just need to call the GraphQL repositories method, which I have defined somewhere in the repository, and then passing the number of repositories as an argument, and we are getting response. Fine. So this is also, again, we can just call it by using API SDK.fetch GitHub repository GraphQL and passing the number of repositories as argument. We have an example app to show you further. So this is the shared resource example. So I showed you the shared resource of authentication before. So this is the authentication repository here. Inside the authentication repository, we are using the basic functions that are required for authenticating a user. We have sign up with email and password. We have login with email and password. We have get user data. So here we are just passing the arguments and then calling the API SDK methods. This is all we need to do to make an API call. So that's why we need the Flutter API SDK here. Moving on, let's see how we can get started with this Flutter starter. So this is the Flutter website which I showed you before. So here is the GitHub link. As soon as you click on the GitHub link, you'll see this page, and you can use this template directly from here. Use this template, give it a name, then you can just clone it inside your app. So I'll show you how it looks inside the app. So these are the folder structures I just explained you. So we have the API SDK, we have the app, we have the shared, and moreover, we have the run script.sh file here. This is a shell script which will help you run the app. As soon as you write sh run script.sh, this will help you run this script, and the app will be booted. Beforehand, you will need to have your emulator or the mobile phone attached. So to show the size configs, I have demonstrated two different screen sizes here. So let's sign up with this app, and let's sign up with this app too. So just a second. Yeah. So we have booted inside our Flutter starter screen. The authentication was being performed by the authentication repository, which I just showed you. We have dark theme and light theme all set up here. So these are the things which you'll get outside the box whenever you install Flutter starter. So moving on, we have some of the example apps. We have Hacker News app here. Inside you will see this Flutter starter, and believe me, it didn't take more than a day to build this app. We have the login screen as I showed you in the example. Then as soon as you log in, you can have your app good to go. So moving on, we have the weather app. Same, it works on the same login screen, which comes out of the box. You just need to type the city name and click on the search button. It will go and make the API call and fetch you the data for the same. Moving on, we have the GitHub repository here app, which works on the GraphQL client. So this also uses the API SDK for GraphQL to make the API call and fetch you the GitHub repositories, as I said. So thank you guys. That was all. So this is all about Flutter starter, and it's open source. So I'll want you guys to go and try it out and try new things. If they are good, if you think this should be merged, you can always create a PR and we'll look into it. Thank you guys.